Good morning, students. Welcome to your physics class. I hope you are doing good and are in good health. So let's start with our class. Good morning, students. In our previous class, we had discussed mass and weight in detail. Okay. In our today's class, we are going to study thrust and pressure. So before beginning with the definitions of thrust and pressure, students, have you ever wondered why a camel can run in a desert easily? But we can't, right? And an army tank weighing more than 1,000 tons rests upon a continuous chain? Or why cutting tools have sharp edges? So, in order to address these questions and understand the phenomenon involved in it, we will discuss thrust and pressure. Okay. Now, what is thrust? The thrust is a kind of force that acts perpendicular to the surface of the object. Assume that this is the surface of the object, and if a force is acting perpendicular to this surface of the object, then I'll be calling this force as thrust. Okay, so the force that acts perpendicular, this is making 90-degree. So the force acting perpendicular to the surface of the object will be known as thrust. Okay, assume that this is a box, the object is my box. Okay, now a force F is being applied on this object, okay, on this box, and this force is perpendicular to this surface of the box, so this force will be known as the thrust. Okay, and if the force is being applied in this direction, this is also the surface of the object, so this will also be the thrust. So in order to be a force, to be a thrust, the force should be perpendicular to the surface of the object. Okay, so earlier we had studied about weight. Which kind of force the weight was? The weight was the downward force, and downward, vertically downward force. So if the vertically downward force is there, so this weight qualifies the condition of thrust. So can I say that the weight is the downward thrust? Okay. Students, consider a situation where we stand on a loose sand. Okay, so this is a loose sand. Okay, and we are standing on it. All right, so when we will stand, the total weight will be the weight of our body, right? And that will be in the downward direction, right? So we are standing on this loose sand. Okay, and our feet go deeper into the sand, right? Assume that this is the feet of a man. Okay, so it will go deeper into the sand. Okay, and when we lie down on the sand, if we lie down, then what will happen? The area will get increase. Okay, so when we will lie down on the sand, we will find that our body will not go into that deep in the sand, right? So in both the cases, what were the cases? While we were standing or while we were lying down on the sand, in both the cases, the force exerted on the sand is the weight of our body, and that is in the downward direction. So here I have taken two cases, case 1 and case 2. Here in the case 1, I have considered the man standing on the loose sand, and in another case I have considered the same man lying down on the loose sand. Okay, now in both the cases, the force that is being acting on the loose sand will be what? It will be the weight of the man, here also, while standing also, and while lying down also. So the downward force will be due to the weight of a man. Okay, so here also the force will be due to the weight of a man. So F I have considered here, and here also the similar force will be acting on the loose sand. Okay, now what about the area of contact? While the man is standing, his feet will have less area of contact with respect to loose sand, isn't it? So here the area of contact with loose sand is less, right? Here the area of contact, this much area, so this is what? More. So area is more, isn't it? So here we have seen that the feet will go little bit deeper inside the loose sand while we stand. That's why we do not walk properly in the loose sand. Why? Because feet goes little bit downward. Okay, so here pressure created, okay, the pressure created will be what? Here our feet goes little bit downward. Why? Because here pressure is more, so pressure is more. Okay, and here in this case the pressure created will be less. Okay, so the pressure created is less. Okay, now if you will have noticed it properly, you'll see here that pressure, when the area is less, pressure will be more, and when the area is more, pressure will be less. So pressure and area are inversely proportional. Okay, and in both the cases the thrust is my downward thrust, and that is due to the weight of a man. So if the similar thrust will be applied in both the situation, then the pressure will be inversely proportional to its area. Okay, so now the pressure created will be directly proportional to force. The greater the force, the greater would be the pressure. Okay, and the pressure is inversely proportional to its area of contact with respect to the surface, isn't it? So can I say the formula for pressure will be what? Pressure is equal to thrust upon area. Okay, pressure is thrust per unit area. Okay, now the pressure here is showing the effect of the force on this surface. Okay, for unit area, what is the effect of the force? That quantity is represented by pressure. Here the effect of this force F, or the effect of the weight when the man was standing, the effect created by his feet was higher. That's why his feet goes little bit downward while walking on the loose sand. Okay, as compared to here when the man was lying down. So here the effect of the force was higher as compared to when the man was lying down. Okay, so here since the area was less, so the effect created by thrust, or effect created by force, or effect created by weight here was greater as compared to case 2. Okay, here by substituting the SI unit of thrust and area, we will get SI unit of pressure. So thrust, we know it is a perpendicular force, so it has SI unit as Newton, and area has SI unit as meter square. So the SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. Here, in order to honor the scientist name as Blaise Pascal, the SI unit of pressure is called Pascal. Okay, and it is denoted by capital P and small a. Okay, so the SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square or Pascal. So we write in short PA, capital P and small a. Students, here an important thing that you must know is that the area in this formula of pressure is not the total surface area. The area should be the area of the surface that is coming in contact with the another surface. Okay. So here in this example, a block of wooden is kept on a tabletop. Okay, this is a wooden block and this has been placed on a tabletop, so the surface is a tabletop. Okay, so here while calculating the pressure, we have to consider we need not consider the entire total surface area. We have to consider only the area of the surface that is getting contact with this base of the tabletop. Okay, so the surface which is coming in contact with the tabletop is what is having the dimensions 20 centimeter into 10 centimeter. So we will consider the area of that surface only. So while calculating the pressure, in the value of the area we will put only the area of this surface. Okay, and here while calculating the pressure created by the same wooden block when it is when it has fallen down, then we have to consider the area which is getting now in contacted with the tabletop. Which one is it? It is the base surface. Okay, so 20 centimeter into 40 centimeter dimension surface. Okay, so we will consider only that base surface area. Okay, one more thing here, student, the same wooden block is there. Here the pressure created would be different as compared to the pressure created while this wooden block has been tilted. Okay, or it has been fallen down. Both the pressure created will have different values. Okay, why? Because here the area of we know that the pressure depends on area of contact. Here the area of contact is lesser as compared to here. So here, since the area of contact is less, so in this case pressure will be greater as compared to this